A second. Okay, so I'm going to see what comes through. I'm going to try and keep this pretty private, I guess. I can tell I'm out and about. So, yeah, you might get a little bit of, I guess, extra noise. I really just, I wanted to just get on here and just, I guess, share some things. I think that I promised you guys all alive. So thank you for popping in if you are. It's quite early here where I am at the moment in the morning. And so just bear with me. I'm out and about. I'm just going to see if I can find a quiet spot. I think it's going to have to do, actually. Anyway, as you can see, it's a beautiful, beautiful day where I am. And the sun is shining, and I think that we have the remnants of an airline right there coming over us. So anyway, just give me a second. I'll let the airplane go past and then I'll start talking. I've got a lot to share today, a lot that I want to share. And hopefully you guys will bear with me. It's been quite a journey to get here, and I can't express to you, like, I wish I could share more, but there's just so much I can't, unfortunately. Okay, where do I start? I think the coast is clear, so I can probably have a bit of privacy and talk about what I wanted to talk about. I'm not sure who's around, but do pop in and please hit the like and please subscribe if you're not already subscribed. You won't probably hear anything like this on any other channel because no other channel is me. Unfortunately, that's just how it is. But as you can hear from the tone of my voice, it's just been quite a there's some parakeets, I think. Beautiful birds. Anyway, yeah, as you can hear from the tone of my voice, I'm not in the best of moods, I guess. But I'm also in a great mood. It's just such a conflicted position that I'm in at the moment because where do I start? I wanted to talk to you guys actually about what happened to me and why I've been kind of quiet and why I've been aloof, and I've been leaving quite strange messages on the community board. I know that I've expressed to some of you guys, as you know, that I was detained for 7 weeks because I said that I was Robert's partner, and I wanted to tell you all that story. I wish I would flip the phone, but I'm not in the best of moods at the moment. Just a lot has been going on, and I think that I'm trying to give myself a break from the camera. I really don't like being in front of the camera, to be honest with you, but I will get there. I've done a lot of videos, probably about 600 videos, if you want to see my face more clearly. Hi, welcome. Just take a seat. You're going to hear a story you've never heard before. It might get loud. If it gets loud, I'm probably just going to head out, but I'm at a beautiful park at the moment, just trying to get some air and time out and tell you my story. So, as I shared on the community board, I was detained for 7 weeks because I said I was Robert's partner, and it's something that I never thought would ever happen to me in Australia. So I don't know what I can say. I'm quite ashamed, actually. For the first time in my life, I'm actually ashamed of being Australian. Not because of being Australian itself, but ashamed of the laws we have here that we don't have enough protections for people from corrupt people. And that's where I'm going to head with today's conversations because as you all may know, Robert's life has been put under a lot of danger and harm, a lot, because everywhere we've turned, there's been an enemy in the bushes. And it's not just Robert, unfortunately. My life has also been put at risk, and not because I'm with him, but because of who he is and the level of his fame. And unfortunately, I've also mistrusted people that I shouldn't have trusted, with information I shouldn't have trusted them with. And it's as simple as telling people, like I told some people that I don't even know where to start with all of this, to be honest with you. Please bear with me. I'm going to try and get this story out. But yeah, look, I do love Brazil. Brazil's great. Anyway, all right. So I'm going to get back and try and stay focused on my story, because I realize I'm going to get lots of people coming through here that aren't my regular subscribers, and you're welcome to listen in. Please hit the like and the subscribe button if you don't already, because this is a channel you're never going to see again in your lifetime, and a story you're never going to hear again in your lifetime. Robert's story is one of the most phenomenal stories that could possibly ever happen in our era. And those of you who know the story know what I'm talking about. I'm going to try and not show these people that are coming down in the park. Yeah, so all I can say is Robert's story's been just phenomenal, from everything from the arrest, the people and the corrupt criminals that did this to him, along with, I guess, my story. So I'm trying to read the comments a little bit. Why don't you just tell us what's going on? J-Time, I'll get there. Okay, so about 7 weeks ago, I'm going to have to move, I'm sorry, because there are people here. No, let me just keep going. They're going to play basketball, so I have to move. Just bear with me 2 seconds. I'm going to just redirect this conversation. If I have to get back to it, then I have to get back to it. I'm just going to go somewhere a bit more quiet, I think, because you can hear somebody's playing basketball. And as much as I don't want to show people's private lives over here. So what's going on? Okay, so it's not even 7 weeks ago. It was probably about the 5th of April. And I promised myself I'd probably wait to share this story, because it's kind of still unraveling. It's a story that's still kind of unfolding. If this is real, I love RKelly's music. We all do. Yeah, it is real. Okay, so yeah, 7 weeks ago, I was detained, and this is pretty much what happened. I had police come and collect me, and I wasn't expecting it. I didn't know what was going on. I was taken to an institution, and I was questioned and interrogated about my relationship with Robert. And I can't even explain to you guys the fear and the anxiety, and the stress, my stress level at that point when that happened, because I've never in my life been in trouble. I've never had any criminal cases. I've never been in court for anything. I've lived a really quiet life and a really solitude life. Now, they weren't interrogating me because of his charges. They were interrogating me because of who I told somebody I was, which is his partner. And it was just something I never, ever expected to happen to me. I was at my mother's place having dinner, and police came to my door, and I was escorted, and I was interrogated. I was interrogated for 48 hours by 2 different individuals, and then taken to another place and interrogated for another 7 weeks. And I'd love to tell you that it's all over and I'm everything's all dandy, but unfortunately that's not the case. And the questions that I was asked immediately were, what is the nature of your relationship with Robert Kelly? How do you know him? When did you meet him? You know, and all of these things. And the reason they were interrogating me was I thought it was, I mean, they were saying it was for my best interests because they were concerned about me. But I'm going to just not show that lovely lady. So I'll just let this lady pass and then I'll continue on. So I was, Suri, just go to hell. You really need to go to hell, whoever you are. I don't know who you've been listening to. He never said he doesn't know me. I don't know who on earth you've been listening to, or you might be that stalker who's been stalking me for the last number of years. You need to go to hell. You need to go to hell. I will block you because people like you are the kind of people that lead other people into trouble because you don't know what you're talking about. You just get online, you just say whatever you think. Rob never said he doesn't know me. It's not possible. It's not possible. He doesn't know you, Suri, and he doesn't know some of you who contact him and try to say that you're his biggest supporters. You can't possibly support him if you don't support this channel. Yeah, just as I suspected, you don't have God in your life. I hope you find God. I'm going to just block you. I think that people like you are real demons in the midst. Nobody needs to hear all of this. You need to just go somewhere. Find yourself a life, in fact. Report. Okay, anyway. I'm so sorry for everybody else who's here, who's listening to all of this. Okay, I think I'm going to have to just change. Oh, goodness me. Just go away. Like, literally, go away. Anyway, I'm going to ignore this person. I've reported them. If, and I'm removing your messages. None of your messages going to see the light of day. I'm sure you're that same woman that's been stalking a number of celebrities. You've got about 20 different accounts. You've been stalking me for the last, I don't know how many years. Get yourself a life. I don't know what kind of individuals sit at home all day and all you can think about is how you can make somebody else's life a bitter hell. I think people like you need God, and you need to extract the demons out of your soul, because nobody needs your BS. Nobody needs it. Nobody needs it. Go away. You can see what you can see. I mean, all of you who are watching, you can see the kind of individuals that are attracted to celebrities, people that are narcissistic, people that are sociopathic, and people like this person who are malevolent and evil. And they're the kind of people that Robert unfortunately attracted, along with the hordes of beautiful people. Unfortunately, he also attracted people like this person who is a pure example of the evil we have in this world, and why he does not want to deal with the public anymore. Anyway, I was telling you my story of my detainment, and I'm going to put this on the live because I can't tell the whole story because it's still unfolding. But I was detained and I was questioned about him for a number of hours and a number of days and a number of weeks, actually, off and on. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know how I got here. The individual who actually made the comments to the authorities was somebody I know very dearly and who I had trusted and thought I could trust. And I have to now admit that there are people around me who are not trustworthy, and who really I can't just be around until we sort this out. or at all. And I don't even know when that's going to be, when in terms of like I can be around such individuals. But anyway, in terms of sorting it out, as you know, I've posted a little bit about seeking pardons for him. I want to explain it. There's so much. I haven't been on live for so long that there's so much I want to tell everybody. But I'm also cautious because there's just so much I need to also protect. So my detainment is definitely like something I fought very hard. I I tired them out. They said that I was tiring them out. I gave them over 100 pages of evidence of our relationship and, history of our relationship and all of that. So, people that tell you, unfortunately, that nothing is going on here or nothing happened with me and Rob, that's just not true. There are people out there that are very malicious and malevolent that will accuse me of lying when they're the ones that lie. Anyway, I'm not going to stay on here too long. I just wanted to touch base with you all. I don't know what else to tell you about my detainment because there's so much in it that I want to make a special video about actually, and in detail. And I would love it if I could do it with Robert, which we're trying to do, because regardless of what his attorneys are doing, there's underneath all of that, there's our relationship that has always been there since, I don't know, 2018. So I think that, we're trying to get this information out. We're trying to do this in a way that protects him. I have to explain it to you guys. If you don't understand why Rob has not been vocal with me, vocal about me, if some of you have read these recent transcripts, you will hear him talk about how he was emailing Joycelyn Savage and RKelly got hold of his emails through corrupt and criminal people, including the GOP, like including the prosecutors that were prosecuting his cases in New York and in Chicago. And because they got a hold of his emails, it put his life in danger because it turned somebody, a key witness, against him. Now, I explained to you guys in my, probably 4 years ago now, that those emails that he wrote were written because he was trying to seek bond. And they were specifically because he was trying to seek bond from Judge Ann Donnelly. And we all know Judge Ann Donnelly as one of the corrupt ones as well. Another malevolent one. I don't know what's happening in this world, but there's seems to be an influx of evil people that are popping up everywhere. And the people that are good and kind and honest, unfortunately, our voices are being drowned out by those who are very evil and malevolent. And so we were like trying to get him home. That was basically it, because it was COVID. And he was petrified about catching COVID. These are really genuine concerns he had, because, COVID was spreading. Nobody knew what it was. Nobody knew how it would be caught or who would get it. And we all thought, and he thought that he was definitely going to get it. And he ended up being correct. He ended up getting it twice. So that's, just give me 1 second, please.
Gauge some of that.
Okay, so we had crosshairs there for a second there. So, yeah, I'm trying to explain it to you why these emails were written to Joycelyn Savage, because you're hearing about him talk about it as I wrote to Rob the other day, probably about a week ago, and I said to him, we have got to stick with our story no matter what, because no lie is going to get you out of this. No lie in this world. And it's not his fault. These are not his lies. These are his attorney's lies. I want to make that really clear. When I talk about lies, I'm talking about his attorneys lying about the nature of his relationships with Azrael and Joycelyn Savage. they led to him having to go along with these things. People that are smart enough understand how a really intelligent, strong, and happy and even in love with another person, man, could be caught up in this. But people that are not intelligent, unfortunately, I have to constantly explain this, how somebody can be forced or coerced or, put in a position where they have to lie to save their life. And unfortunately, we have a case where I call him Rob, I call him King. You'll hear me call him King. I think it's easier for me because I've got a brother called Rob. I've got a brother called Robert, and his son's called Rob. And there's just too many Roberts in our family, so I'll call him King for the nature of this conversation. So as you all know, King has dyslexia, so he can't read or write. He's classified as legally illiterate. Brilliant and genius, but he cannot read or write. So what that means is he's been dependent on people for a lot of things, from booking things, from organizing things, and that includes his advocacy. He's not been able to read his motions. He's not been able to properly. He's not been able to access the information on his motions. So his attorneys took a lot of liberties early on to make claims that were false. This is one part reason why Stephen Greenberg was fired and why we let him go, because he was lying profusely about Robert's relationship, Joycelyn Savage and Azrael Clary. And we were trying very, very hard to do right by God. We didn't care about people. We didn't care about what other people were going to think, and also right by each other as well. As you know, when you're in a relationship with somebody, that's what you do. You try to do the right thing. But his attorney, Stephen Greenberg, ran to the media before he even had a chance to explain anything, and said to the media that that King was in a relationship with these two interns who weren't even living with him, weren't even in his vicinity. And if you listen to Azrael Clary on her recording in the video precedents, I want you all to go and research this. I don't want you to take my word for it. Go and write this down. On the video precedents, yeah, you're right, J-Time. No, I'll correct myself. But when I say he can't read or write, I'm talking about legally. I'm talking about when, I've already said very clearly he can read, but very, very minimal. And it's very difficult for him because when you're dyslexic, the words actually appear differently on a page. It's not a case of, oh, he's illiterate, he's just lazy, he never learnt. None of that. That's not what his problem is. He can read, but it's actually very, very difficult. What's his name? Einstein also had the same issue. He used to actually write backwards. So I'm just trying to explain very broadly what happened to King. So let's try and stay on page. But yeah, fine if you want to throw that in there. He definitely can read, but I want to be clear that he's classified legally illiterate because of the level of dyslexia that he has, which means that if he received emotion, he would struggle so hard. He struggles so hard to read his motions and his legal paperwork and even letters from people. So you've got to be very patient, very compassionate towards people like that, because it's not a case of, oh, well, he didn't try hard enough in school. Dyslexia isn't a case of not trying hard enough. It's a disability that twists the way that. It's a way, sorry, it twists the way that people perceive words. Anyway, so I was getting to my story, which is really that why he ended up lying or going along with the lies of his attorneys. It was to save his life. When it comes to Joycelyn Savage and Azrael Clary, it was to save his life. He had no other choice because his motions were being put through by Stephen Greenberg, claiming that these two women were his girlfriends. Now, I want you to write this down and go and research this for yourselves. You can find the video and the documentary of Precedence, which is a documentary that was made after surviving RKelly that featured Azrael Clary. And on that video, something very Oh, sorry. On that video, RKelly says that that was the last time they spent time with him. Now, the last time they spent time with him would have that video was taken on Father's Day. Now, it wasn't taken on Father's Day in 2019. The reason being is you can actually research where they were at Father's Day 2019. They were home in Florida with their family. And the reason they were at home is because King and I had worked it out for them to be at home. Okay, so there's that. So it must have been, if she's saying that that was the last time they spent time together, then it would have been in June 2018, which would have made it over a year, in which case she had not seen both of them had not spent time with him. I want you to go and research this because these are her own words. I don't want you to miss these clues as to what the nature of their relationship really was, because even in that video, their behavior isn't of two women that are used to being around him. They're of interns that are infatuated, and it's very clear for people who have eyes that see, but unfortunately, for people that don't have much experience with different relationships, and people also who are in denial of reality, they'll claim that that these two women had this long-term live-in relationship. When they came into his condo, they brought a cake into his condo that was 3 days old. It was moldy. The cake itself, the cream itself had gone off. So that was a clue that the cake had been sitting somewhere for 3 days. And so it wasn't sitting in his condo, it was sitting in their apartment. And so they came into his apartment. So how could they be living with him? And we all know they weren't living with him. So again, why were his attorneys saying that they were living with him? You all have to ask these questions because I'm trying to get you all thinking like I think, and like a lot of people should think about all of this, because his attorneys have tried to do a real kind of bender, when it comes to, they've really tried to do something really horrible and hurtful towards him. And it's not, the intention may have been to free him of these cases, but what they actually did instead, they made him look really, really guilty. Sorry, I'm just going to wait till somebody goes past. So they made him look really, really guilty, and that's the case. So instead of freeing him from the accusations of holding these two hostages and abusing them, they made him look guilty by association, because they put him in a situation where Joycelyn Savage's parents could say anything that they wanted about him, and he couldn't say, well, actually, I've never been with your daughter, never wanted to be with your daughter, and so stuff you. Which is what he's wanted to say from the get-go. And the same with Azrael. He's wanted to say, stuff you, I never wanted your ugly daughters, and you can go to hell with that. I'm sorry to call them ugly, because God's creations are not ugly, but when it comes to personalities and lying, I'm sorry, any woman that lies profusely about being with a man, even if it's to save him, I'm sorry, you're an ugly person. And you can call me ugly. I don't give a damn. I don't care what people think about me and my appearance. I'm talking about character here. But King's whole persona has been that he's wanted to say, stuff you. I've never wanted your daughters. What are you even talking about? But he hasn't been able to say that because he's been put under this duress of continuing on this narrative of Joycelyn Savage being in a relationship with him because of Jennifer Bonjean and Stephen Greenberg. Stephen Greenberg and Jennifer Bonjean were associates. That's how Jennifer Bonjean came in to the team. Stephen Greenberg handed over every lie that he put out there on his emotions to Jennifer Bonjean. Now, I have posted numerous times my earlier conversations with Jennifer Bonjean, addressing this with her and confronting her about her lies on his early emotions. Unfortunately, people don't read enough and people don't care enough to actually read all of those motions. So they've kind of fallen on deaf ears. But I've posted a lot of information about that, me confronting, and I've confronted Stephen Greenberg as well. I've confronted all these attorneys about their lies, but you've also got to see my position in this, where I've been half the time living in Australia, and the other time in the States, and I've not had the full access to just go down to their office and storm their office, and because of certain certain logistical issues. And I'm sorry I'm stuttering through this, but this is just so intense and there's so much information. I'm going to try and calm down and try and explain it, but it's really hard to explain all of this to people. All I can do is explain as much as I can. But please hit the like button if you're coming through. It really does help this channel. If you do support Rob, if you do support RKelly, you do support this channel, because if you don't support him, if you don't care about him, then don't support this channel. But if you do support this channel, because this is his voice. I promise you, like, he does speak through me, and one way or another, I'm the only truth he has, the only way that he can actually express himself without putting his life in danger. As I was trying to explain to you why he would not come out with talking about me, as you can see what happened when he was, in those fake emails with Joycelyn Savage, it turned RKelly into a monster. And also it led to a whole series of other events as well, just from his emails with Joycelyn Savage. So you can imagine why then he would not want to talk about me, because then that could kick off Joycelyn Savage, and God knows, I know she could be listening. I don't care. I think that she needs to really man up or woman up and actually tell the truth that she was never with him, and if she can't, I could take a polygraph test today and tell you guys that I'd pass with flying colours, but she couldn't, because she's lying profusely through her teeth that she was ever with him, because she never was with him. She didn't even spend time with him. RKelly herself has said that numerous times to people, but they won't listen. So I'm just trying to trying to kind of rehash a lot of the information that maybe some of you have missed along the way. And some of this has actually led to my own unfortunate detainment, because, what can I say? When people don't tell the truth, when his attorneys lied and had to, put him under duress of lying as well, then they put us both in a really horrible position of hiding our relationship. So what that means is, people that came along that wanted to, that were interested in the cases, whether they be officials or, people in official positions, we didn't have that opportunity to say, well, this is all, the evidence of our relationship, because unfortunately we had to go underground with our relationship. We had to go behind the scenes with our relationship. And that was so unfair on both of us. It was probably the worst thing that could possibly have happened. And it put me in danger, because then it made me look like the one that was a criminal. It's made me look like the one that's done all the wrong, that's hidden the truth. And I'm not a liar. I've never been a liar in my life. I've never been somebody who has mental health problems, of delusions and all of this delusional ideation or erotomania. But I've been accused of that. And it's been really hurtful for me, because I know my sanity is very clear. And people that know me know my sanity is very clear. And people that follow this channel know that my sanity is very, very clear. But unfortunately, for people that don't care, that just want to make me feel horrible because they're not very happy, they're going to come through here and say things like, oh, he says he doesn't know you. I can tell you, there's a woman called, I'm not even going to put her name out there because I don't want to make her famous. When I came onto the scene 5 years ago, there was a woman who started stalking me very, very badly. And, she just followed all my channels. She created fake accounts, fake personas, different names. She had a different name for every day. And then she started pretending that she was different people within the fan base, and spreading rumors about me. And one of the biggest rumors she spread was saying that he said he doesn't know me. And that was, you've got to understand the mind of this calculated and very malevolent and very evil woman. People like that, who think like that, can say anything, and they don't care what they say. They don't care how it hurts me or how it hurts him. They don't care. They just say it. And so this woman started saying amongst his fans and amongst anyone who'd hear her, oh, his attorney said they don't know her. Oh, Rob said he doesn't know her. And of course, because fans were trying to pick up any little bit of information they could about Rob's cases, they would pick up these lies from this woman. and this is probably her, Suri. I don't know. She's got a different name. She's been all kinds of names, and I can't even keep up. She's a criminal woman at this stage. It's cyber stalking that she's been doing, and so she was amongst his fan base saying, "Oh, he doesn't know her. Oh, you can't believe her." She created pages to slander me and stalk me. Pages. One page called "The Fake Wives of RKelly" and making claims that I claimed I was pregnant with his baby, engaged to him. Now, these people are the ones that are delusional, but unfortunately, they go under the radar because they are so charming and so slick. And they're so malevolent and so manipulative that people like her would never get, almost never get called out. But unfortunately she did, because she's done this to a number of celebrity fans, of fan bases, and a number of celebrities. And somebody came to me and said, there is a woman that's been stalking you. She's been posting different things on her pages. She's got a page created, against you. She's done this, she's done that. And it's actually two individuals that came to me and said that online. And I looked into pressing legal charges against her, but unfortunately, cyber stalking, especially when you're international and an international citizen, it doesn't go very far. So what we're doing is something else, and I've got something else planned for that woman. She doesn't know who she's dealing with at this point. She thinks that she's gotten away with it, but I've got a way of making people feel secure in this insanity until they're not secure. So whatever she's doing out there, she's going to be caught, and she's going to be exposed, and she's going to be humiliated. Rest assured. But I can only tell you that if you ever hear somebody saying that Rob said he doesn't know me, it's come from this woman, because I can assure you he knows me. I can assure you he knows me. And I can assure you he would never in his life, not even if a gun was put to his head, deny that he knows me, because that's what love is. It's not, unfortunately, I can't even use the word love on here, because there's so many of you that don't even know what the word love means. To you, it means an infatuation. It might mean a crush. To me, it means unconditional love. It means caring for somebody above yourself. And that's the kind of love that we share. It's not about, who he is. It's not about who I am. We are two people from two different sides of the world, for God's sake. Like, we could be, we could have been passing each other and never know each other, but God brought us together and into this situation, and it just turns out that we happen to be very much alike. In fact, almost twin-like, even though we speak with different accents. That's how God has created us to be. Like, sometimes God pulls people from different sides of the world so that they can help each other. And I think that that's what happened with King and I. And I'm grateful for that, because, he has brought nothing but beauty to my life. So, anyway, guys, I can't stay on here for much longer. I'm going to just have to continue this another day, because it's just, there's so much information. This is just, I think, a nonsensical situation. The whole thing is nonsense. Like, it should have been squashed from the get-go. I don't even know how these cases made the light of day. But when you're dealing with people that have corruption and evil in their character, anything can happen. I want to tell you more, and I'm going to come back to this when I get a chance. But for now, I'm going to just leave it here. Just bear with me. One sec. So yeah, I think that it's been quite a lengthy. So yeah, anyway, I'm going to leave it here. I think I've said enough. I've really kind of probably bored some of you to death, but I wanted to share with you about my own detainment and what, is kind of, but there's just so much involved in it. I want to actually do a proper video and share more in detail, and I will. But for now, I'll probably just leave it here. I think it's probably best to just leave it and come back to it. There is just so many people around. Anyway, I think I've said enough for now, and I hope you enjoyed this live. Please hit the like button on the way out, and thank you for joining me. For the few who listen, I think you guys are brilliant people who listen and who care and who believe. God, I think it doesn't take much to believe in reality. It doesn't take much to believe in common sense. And that's all I do is I just make common sense. But for people that don't have common sense, I make no sense at all. So you've got to just discount most people. Unfortunately, today we live in a world where most people don't have common sense. We are expecting some really great news. I'm telling you just to keep listening out. Please keep listening out. We're expecting the news that I don't even want to say it, because my mum always has this habit of telling me off because I have a habit of saying good news too soon. And this time I'm going to do something different and just leave it to your imaginations what that news could be. But I really want you to pray about it. Please, please, please pray that it happens quickly. We really need this for his sake, for Rob's sake, for his protection, for both our protections, because I need him home to help me with my case now. And unfortunately, I mean, I don't have a criminal case, thank God, but it is a case where I need to clear my name from these false allegations that somebody has laid against me that are connected to him. And only he can help me. And unfortunately, he's in a position where he's fighting to get out as well. And so we're trying to get him out as a priority. So please just pray for us, if you care. And, and we will try to pray for you guys as well. We just thank God for you. And I always ask God to bless you guys who believe and follow and support us. I think that, God does bless you when you do care. And and I do believe that. I do believe that God will bless each one of you that listens and supports our channel. And thank you for everything. Thank you for being with us on this journey. And we hope to be together, having a live. That would be phenomenal, because it would be just like the end of an era. And look who we have here. Oh, darling. A little puppy dog come up to me. Sorry. Yeah, it's so cute. Anyway, so I'm going to leave it here. I think that I have so much more to tell you, but I can't say it. All I can just say is please pray that we can get online together in the near future, like ASAP. ASAP. But there's two forms of good news that are coming that I don't want to say too much about. In fact, I don't want to say anything about, because I don't believe in jinxes. I don't believe in curses, but I do believe that there is a lot of bad people out there that will use whatever information I put out and for evil. So all I can say is I hope that you'll just keep that in mind, and why I'm not sharing everything I want to share. Anyway, thank you for listening, and goodbye.